All right, so we're at K8. We're going to solve two-step linear inequalities. And I still want to remind you that your process for solving inequalities is the same as your process for solving equalities. So just pretend this is an equal sign and you solve it the same way. The only thing that's different is when you, at the end, divide by a negative number. If there is one, don't forget to flip the inequality. So we have negative 1r minus 2 is less than or equal to negative 1. Well, obviously, I want r by itself. So since I want r by itself, I'm going to add 2 to both sides of the inequality. And I have negative 1r is less than or equal to, well, negative 1 plus 2 is positive 1. And then notice I have negative here. So I'm going to divide by negative 1 on both sides of the inequality. And this is what I was talking about. Remember, if you see whatever your inequality is at the beginning, if you're dividing by that negative number, you have to flip it over. So 1 divided by negative 1 is negative 1. Notice how I flipped the signs. They're now pointing in the opposite direction. So our answer would be r is greater than or equal to negative 1. All right, let's continue. So we have 1 minus 3s is less than or equal to negative 5. I want s alone, and I have a positive 1 here. So because it's positive, I do the opposite, which is to subtract 1 from both sides of the inequality. And I have negative 3s is less than or equal to negative 6. And I am dividing by negative 3 on both sides of the inequality to isolate the s. And I have s, and hopefully you're saying, Miss Clark, don't forget to flip the sign. And I won't. So I've got s now is greater than or equal to positive 2, because a negative divided by a negative is a positive. So this sign went from that to this only because we divided by a negative. If you're dividing by a positive, there's no reason to do that. So we have s is greater than or equal to 2. And now we've got 4 minus negative 2u is less than 10. Well, let's see. Really, let's go ahead and change this first, because minus negative 2u, that's the same as saying 4 plus 2u is less than 10. I want u alone, so I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides of the inequality. And I have 2u is less than 6. And I'm going to divide by 2 on both sides of the inequality, and I have u is less than 3. Now we have 6 minus negative 1f is greater than or equal to 3. And again, let's go ahead and fix these signs before we start using our inverse operation. So we have 6 plus 1f is greater than or equal to 3. We want f alone, so we have a positive 6. Let's do the opposite, which is to subtract 6 from both sides of the inequality. So we have f is greater than or equal to negative 3. And if you're unsure, test it. So if I put, say, if I use negative 3, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to show you what I mean when I say test it. Oh, I did all of that, and you couldn't even see it. I'm sorry. So let me show you a check. So if I were to check this, and I'm going to pick a value of f that is greater than or equal to negative 3. And if I think about my number line, I'm looking for numbers that are to the right of negative 3. Let's use negative 2. So if I say, okay, well, 6 minus negative 1, and let's choose, like I said, negative 2. And we're going to say that's greater than or equal to 3. So I have 6 minus, well, negative 1 times negative 2 is positive 2, right? So this is positive 2. is greater than or equal to 3. Well, 6 minus 2 is 4, and 4 is indeed greater than or equal to 3. So we know that we're correct. And that's how you can check it. Just go back and substitute your answer. If it's equal to, if it's greater than or less to, pay attention to that, select the appropriate number so that you can check your answer. All right, we're going to do a few more of these and then we're going to move on to K9. So now let's look at this next problem, which we have. We have 2w plus 8 is less than 2. I want w alone, so I'm going to subtract 8 from both sides of the inequality. And I'm left with 2w is less than negative 6, because 8 minus 2 is 6, and the 6 is going to be negative because the 8 is the larger number. I'm going to divide by 2 on both sides of the inequality. Therefore, I have w is less than negative 3. So w less than negative 3. Oh, this is a good one. So we have here 8 is less than m divided by 3 plus 9. Now, we're going to do everything the same way that we've always done it. I've got the 9 here, and I see that this is division, so I know I'm going to do the opposite of that, which is to multiply so that I can isolate the m. First thing I'm going to do is subtract 9 from both sides of the inequality. And I have 8 minus 9, which is negative 1, which is less than m divided by 3. Now this should look very familiar. All I have to do is multiply by 3 on both sides of the inequality. And I have 3 times negative 1, which is negative 3, which is less than 3m divided by 3 is just m. So you could read it as negative 3 less than m, or you could read it as m is greater than negative 3. Whichever one works better for you. All right, I think we'll make this the last one. We've got p divided by 5 minus 1 is less than or equal to 1. Same thing. This time they just switched the coefficient around, or the variable. So we're going to add 1 to both sides of the inequality. And I've got p divided by 5 is less than or equal to 2. I'm going to multiply both sides by 5 because 5 is here in the denominator and I want to get rid of it. So 5p divided by 5 is just p, which is less than or equal to 2 multiplied by 5 is 10. Oh, I typed 5. I meant to type 10. Alright, so here we are on this one. If you have any other further questions or need help on this, please don't hesitate to ask. See you on K9.